Okay, welcome everybody. Hi, I'm Doc G. This is Hamilton Radio. We're live on the Roku channel. We're also live right now with Anson Williams, Potsie Weber from Happy Days. Welcome to our show.
Thank you very much. Nice to be on.
It's so great to have you on the show. Let me start the interview with a quote. You're going to do something great in life. Just got a feeling. Willie Turner. Tell us about Willie Turner.
Can you repeat that, please?
Sure. Let's start the interview with a quote. You're going to do something great in life. Just a feeling I got. Willie Turner. Can you tell us about Willie?
Willie Turner.
Oh, Willie Turner. Oh, yeah. My mentor when I was in high school. He was my assistant janitor. My boss. I was assistant janitor. He was head janitor. And he was like a prophet to me. He helped me find me. Gave me the confidence to connect and have the confidence to move forward. Without Willie Turner, I wouldn't be talking to you guys.
Oh, wow.
Now, you were a janitor, right?
He was also in his 50s, African-American, not well-educated, a functioning alcoholic, and a prophet. That's why, any kind of prejudice, any kind of judgment for anybody gets me crazy.
Absolutely.
Because you don't know where your heroes are. It's usually not the billionaire or the movie star. It's some random, wonderful human being that just connects and just moves you forward in life. Every race, every color, it just gets me crazy when people are so educated into prejudice. Gets me crazy.
Absolutely. How long did you work with Willie?
A couple of years. 15 and a half years old to almost 17.
Wow.
Years old.
And you were a janitor at the department store with Willie?
Assistant janitor while I was going to high school.
Wow.
I came from a very lower middle class family, little 3-bedroom, 1-bath house. Anything I needed outside of the basics, I had to get a job and pay for it. So I started, working at a very young age.
Hmm. Well, at 20 years old, you were a part-time student and you were a shoe salesman, and you also did a little singing at night, right? Is that how you started singing?
Mm-hmm. I was out of the house at 18, trying to go to school, trying to get into show business. And I would, in LA at the time, they had these talent nights during the week. Usually these clubs, it was usually slow midweek. So they'd have these talent nights to bring more people in, because if you're there singing your song, a lot of times you bring friends. So I would go to about 4 talent nights a week, and sing badly, and kind of start learning what to do. But so I would be all over LA with my sheet music and hand it to some crabby piano player, and that was the beginning.
Tell us about meeting TV producer John Epstein. And there was a guy in the room named Steven Spielberg. Tell us about that. That must have been awesome.
Well, it's funny, moving along in show business, I finally landed a replacement job at an equity show, which is live theater in Hollywood, thinking I'd made it. I have a show in Hollywood. But the cast laughed at me, saying the only people that come to this theater are retirement homes. And they were right. Hollywood did not come to the theater. So I thought, well, I got to go to Hollywood. So there were 3 big agencies at the time: William Morris, International Famous Agency, and CMA. And so I went to International IFA, it was called. I parked illegally. I said, I'm going to get an agent. I'm going to get an agent to come see this show. So I did a sit down. They wouldn't see me because I didn't have an appointment. So I sat on a chair. I did a sit down strike in the lobby. Mm-hmm. I said, you guys, I was going to sit there till someone saw me. And I sat there for quite a few hours. People would be opening doors, looking at this crazy kid in the lobby. And finally, this one guy in a tie and a suit kind of walks out from the side door It says, "Hey, you kid, come here." I walk up to him. I said, "Are you an agent?" He goes, "Yeah." And I start pitching him about the show. He says, "Quiet, get in here." So I get in there, and I'm inside. I'm inside the agency. I'm inside the Tower of Power.
Mm-hmm.
And I sit down. So he goes, "Sit down." He goes, "We heard this is pain in the ass kid in the lobby." I said, "But you're lucky." I go, "Why?" He said, "We don't have a lot of actors over 18 that look young. You're over 18, right?" I go, Yeah. Well, yeah. He says, and this breakdown from Owen Marshall, Counselor at Law, this television series produced by John Epstein. And they need guest stars. They need high school football players. He said, "Can you act?" I go, Yeah. He goes, "Good." I said, "I'm going to send you out on this." He said, "If you get it, we'll sign you." So I walked out of there with an audition at Universal Studios the next morning. And I get there, and of course, I had a musical comedy background and all this, but I never had a dramatic acting lesson in my life. So I go up there, they hand me the side, and I look at it, and I'm playing a high school football player who dies of an overdose of drugs, and it's the death scene. I go, "Oh, this is going to go good." So I read the sides, and all of a sudden I go into John Epstein's office, and I just remember the coffee was felt great. And big office, and there's a casting director, and there's John Epstein and some quirky-looking guy to the side, who I don't get introduced to. And I sit down and I read with the casting, and I fall into that carpet, and I die good. And I got the part. And guess who that quirky guy was in the corner? Steven Spielberg.
Oh my God!
It turned out that he had already done Duel. Which was his big break in Universal, but John Epstein was his friend. The director dropped out, and he decided he did us a favor. This last thing he ever did, he didn't know, and did us a favor. And the agency signed me, and I started getting work as a director. There you go. I mean, and as an actor, excuse me.
Wow. So cool. And then you get a call from your agent about an audition for a show called Happy Days at Paramount Pictures Studios.
That was a few years later. I
Right.
started doing all the consumer boyfriend roles. And then yeah, I got this audition. There were 2 pilots for Happy Days. And this was the first pilot. There was no Fonzie in it, no Ralphie in it, different Mr. Cunningham. Marion was in it, Ron was in it. I ended up in it. He wasn't in it, but yeah, I went down and I got that part, and it didn't sell. And then a year later, American Graffiti came out, and Grease was on Broadway and ABC, and there was thought, didn't we have a 50 show? So they wanted to do another pilot, but this time more like Graffiti. The first one was a lot softer, but this time they made Ron Howard and I screen test because they thought we might be too old. And by the way, I saved John Travolta's career. I want you to know that.
Did
he
you?
Didn't have the salary. He absolutely, the first pilot, John was on a national tour with Grease, but he wasn't playing Danny Zuko. He was playing Dewey, this kind of really innocent kid in the show. And they thought he'd be right for Potsie. So he auditioned for Potsie, and I got it. Can you imagine what would have happened if he caught it?
Oh, man.
By getting that part, man. He went on the ABC list and got Barbarino. Much better part for him, right?
Yes.
He owes me. Anyway, Ron and I screen touched for the second one. And on and on and on. Thank God we got it again. And Don Most was auditioning for Potsie too, but they loved him so much, they created Ralph for him. And then, of course, they added a little character that sort of helped called Fonzie. And then Harold Gould wasn't available to play the father again, so they cast Don Bosley. And Aaron Moran came in to play Joni, and we did the pilot, the second pilot, and the rest is history.
I had a question for you, Anson. You can hear me a little bit better. Doc G here. Did you or any of the cast members feel that other people weren't right for casting? as the members that they were?
We felt that who was cast was wrong.
No, I'm saying, did everybody feel that whoever was casted for whatever part in the Happy Days was casted the way they were supposed to be? Because that's the way we look at it as the audience. Casting was great.
That's the magic of the show. The magic of the show is the show was well written and all that, but there was a chemistry between this cast and that was above the page, that connected with the world. I mean, we loved each other, and I think it transferred right to the tube, right to the viewer. No, it was perfect casting with once in a lifetime chemistry.
Yeah, you even had some great spinoffs too from the show, which I like to talk about. Which was Laverne and Shirley and a couple others. I think I'm working Mindy, and a bunch of others.
Yeah, well, the Mork and Mindy, that was the Mork series was a total accident. You know the story of that?
Well, I want you to explain it to us.
Do I have to? No, I'd love to. When we were shooting the show 3 cameras on Mondays, you would always read the following week's script first, so the writers could rewrite, and then you would read the script we're gonna shoot that week. Well, we went in and there's a script, Mork for Mork, and what inspired it was Scotty Marshall. It was Gary's 10-year-old son. They had just seen Star Wars, and he asked Gary to do a Martian show on Happy Days. So there's Mork for Mork. Well, we read it. It was the worst script in the history of Happy Days. It was unreadable. It was so bad. It was so bad. It was so stupid. It was just awful. Gary said, don't worry, we'll fix it. So, we read the next script, and that's the script we did that week. Next Monday, we read the following week's script, pretty good script, and we read the current one, Mork for Mork, rewritten. It's even worse. Well, we start rehearsing. Monday we rehearse, awful. Tuesday we rehearse, awful. Wednesday we rehearse in front of and then we do a run through in front of the writers, awful. The guest star was not Robin Williams playing Mork. It was some other guy who quit Wednesday night.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
So embarrassed. He quit Wednesday night. And Gary comes down to the floor and says, does anybody know a funny March? So Al Molinaro, who was in Harvey Lembeck's improv class, said, yeah, there's this really funny kid named Robin Williams. And then our other casting director, the other cat said, "Oh yeah. He was in the new Laughing for six episodes. Funny, he's a funny guy. Bring him in." Next morning, we're doing tech rehearsal. That means there's no writers on the set. It's just setting camera angles for the shots. Because Friday night we're shooting it for my audience. It's just tech. The writers aren't around.
Right.
I get there a little later because I'm not in the first few scenes. And I walk onto the set. Every writer's on the set, writing furiously. Jerry Paris runs over to me. He's a genius. There's Robin Williams improvising the whole show.
Wow.
And the writers are desperately trying to write down everything. That's right. And I literally, there was a light on this guy. I never think this talent.
Wow.
By Friday night, the next night, it was one of the best scripts in the history of Happy Days. And a superstar was created. Those 300 people at the end of that show would not stop clapping and cheering.
So basically,
that's when Gary got the idea. Gary got the idea of taking some old footage of a pilot he did with Pam Dauber, mixed it in with the current footage, put it together over the phone, sold Fred Silverman a 13-episode Mork and Mindy. And that was the start of Robin's career.
That's awesome. He improv the whole show, and he made it show for them. That was amazing.
All Robin, man.
Anson, when you auditioned for Potsie, didn't you base the character on a childhood friend, Howie?
Yeah, it's based on Howie Schertzman. I was more of a Richie growing up, actually, but Howie was like kind of an Oski from Summer 42.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
kind of the motivator. Yeah. So when the character turned a little bit, he used to be kind of the guy getting rich and in trouble, and then once the Fonzie character became huge, they made Potsie more of the all shuts guy. So
Okay.
starting off, it was Howie. You know.
That's great. We have a question from a listener, Gary Collins. He wants to know, what was it like to work with Marion Ross?
Oh, Marion is just, I mean, you know, what a professional and what a history. I mean, she did films with Clark Gable, and I mean, it's just the most positive, fantastic, talented lady. You know, we're still friends today. She's 92.
Awesome. And you still see her, right? Didn't you just have recently had dinner with her not too long ago?
Yeah, yeah. So we stay in touch for sure.
That's awesome. What about Henry Winkler? The first time you met Henry Winkler, the Fonz, what was it like to work with Henry?
Oh, magical. I mean, you know, Henry is nowhere near anything like the Fonz.
I know.
He's brilliant acting. And
That's amazing.
Him create that character. I watched him create that character, and they didn't write that character. He created that character.
It's amazing.
All the affectations, everything he has, he created. Just a genius and the kindest, nicest man too. I mean, he's known as the nicest guy in show business.
Absolutely. At one time, when he got so popular on Happy Days, didn't they want to change the name of the show to Fonzie's Happy Days? But the cast really wasn't too happy about that.
Well, Henry wasn't too happy about it either. Fred Silverman wanted to change the name of the show to Fonzie's Happy Days. And Ron was, you know, a little bit upset about it. But knew whatever worked for the show. But Henry said, no way. This is Happy Days. You wouldn't allow it. Henry wouldn't allow it.
Wow. And what was amazing, you know, I was reading your book, which is a fantastic book, by the way. When Henry auditioned, it was also with Mickey Dolenz was up for the part as well, and Henry actually got the part.
Well, because it was written. The part was written as kind of just a stereotypical funny character, you know. Mm-hmm. And Mickey's a brilliant actor, so basically he was funny, sitcom-y, and the character. I mean, the part was for a larger guy, you know. Mm-hmm. And when Henry came in the room, he reinvented the character. He literally reinvented the character, and it was between him and Mickey Dolenz. It was and he blew the network away, and he got the part. But it was totally different than what it was on page.
Amazing. The premiere of Happy Days was January 15th, 1974, and it took off really fast, right? I mean, it skyrocketed.
Well, it took off. It took off. It was like not a huge hit at first. It took off nicely. We were in the top 20, you know, for a while. But then, and we came in mid-season. Then the next full season, we actually started losing audience. We were down to 48th place by the end of the season and almost didn't get picked up.
Oh, wow.
And that's when Gary decided to change it into a 3-camera live audience show. Like, just change the whole tone, everything. And
I was working in front of a live audience.
Fred Silverman gave us one more chance. That season, that's when it exploded. It became the #1 show in the world and made history. That's when we captured the world.
Amazing. What about working in front of a live audience? How was that for you?
Oh, it's great because, you know, I came out of theater, came out of musical comedy. So it was great. And Donnie, we were all theater actors. The only one that wasn't was Ron, who was very, very, very nervous. And he ended up being just a natural. But that first show, he was really nervous. But he did a phenomenal job. But all of us loved it because we're out of theater. And every Friday night was like opening night, you know? It was exciting.
That's so cool. Tell us a little bit about when they started adding characters like Pinky Tuscadero, Leather Tuscadero, and all that. A lot of people want to know about them other characters, Susie Quattro and Ross Kelly.
Oh, Susie Quattro. I mean, she's just a consummate pro. She's great, and I mean, what a performer, what a songwriter. Her best friend's Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah, and just marvelous, great talent and lady, and the lady who played Pinky Tuscadero, not our favorite.
I understand.
Actually, she wasn't in it very much.
I understand that, but you got a chance a lot of times to sing. Did you really enjoy that, to sing in front of everybody?
Well, I pretty much sold Gary on creating a band for the show, because back then we didn't get paid very well on the show, not like today, nowhere near. Mm-hmm. But I've always been one to look for opportunity, and I knew David Cassidy, and he just finished Partridge Family, and he was telling me how much better he did off the show than on the show by singing on the show. And it was last year, the Brady Bunch, and they were going all over the world singing. And Barry Williams was telling me how well they did off the show than on the show. So I thought, coming out of music, if I could convince Gary Marshall to put music on the show and let me sing, I might be able to get a record deal and actually get booked and actually make some money. So one early morning, I found Gary, who was busy. I asked if I could speak to him. He said later. I said, it'll only take a minute. And he said, fine, you got a minute. So I walked with him. So I walked with him through the lot, and I do an elevator pitch, telling him, hey, you got girls on the show, you got cars on the show, you need a band in Arnold. Richie, he goes, what, a band? Oh, that's good. He said, I used to be a drummer. Yeah. He goes, what do you do? I go, I sing. You sing? I sing. Are you good? I go, I'm good. Okay. It just clicked with him. There's a show coming up. Fraternities. Yeah. Let's try you out. Go speak to Bobby, post-production, pick a song. So I'm walking away, and I'm thinking I just changed my life, right?
Right.
And I hear, but you're singing to a bulldog. I go, why? He goes, well, Elvis sang to a bulldog and Ed Sullivan, and honestly, I believe you're good, but if you're good, if you're not, I'm going to get laughs. You're singing to a bulldog. So there I am, first time singing on national television to a bulldog. I'm all shook up to a bulldog, but he liked it. I started singing about every third show. I was able to be in charge of the music I did. It was my responsibility. And sure enough, I was able to get a record deal with Chelsea Records, the same as David Cassidy, and I was making $1,200 episode on Happy Days and $17,000 a night doing concerts.
Oh, wonderful! You did good.
And that just shows people, look what you have, not what you don't have. There's opportunity in front of you. And Gary came up to me and said, I'm really proud of you. You don't bitch. You saw an opportunity. You made it good, and you made it good for the show. I'm proud of you. It was a great lesson in being entrepreneurial and moving forward and finding what you have, not what you don't have.
You also sang on the show, and you also sang on a telethon. And Elvis Presley saw the telethon, and you got to meet him. Tell us about that, meeting Elvis.
Well, I was doing a cerebral palsy telethon in, I think, Monroe, Louisiana. And because I did a lot for CB at the time. And they set you up with like a volunteer to take you around and everything. So this wonderful woman picks me up, and her son is CP. Just the nicest people. And her son was like a major fan of Elvis Presley, even with CP and all that. And look, and I saw there was posters around. Elvis Presley was going to be doing a concert. I think the next night, right across the parking lot at the Civic Center. We were at this little television studio at the Civic Center, and I thought, oh man, Elvis Presley, wow. So the next, and they're kind of my, showing me around and everything, making sure I'm okay. Next day, we're doing the telethon, and they come running in at probably almost 10 at night or something. And he said, would you like to meet Elvis? I go, what are you talking about? He said, we were at lunch today, and his friend Red, like part of his entourage named Red, told him the story about my son, and anyway, Elvis is going to finish the concert. He's going to meet my son on the way to his limousine. Would you like to meet him? Mm-hmm. I'm going, yeah. So the kid's in the wheelchair. We go across the parking lot, and sure enough, there's a little entourage. It's Lincoln Continental limousine, and we're waiting there. And Elvis Presley comes out the stage door, comes on down, takes the scarf off, gives it to the kid. It made this kid feel like $1 million. And I'm sitting there, I can't talk. I'm in a Monroe, Louisiana parking lot meeting Elvis Presley. I'm going, no one will believe it. Then he comes to me. Well, I saw you sing nice, son. I saw you on. I go, what? Yeah, I was in saw the telethon on the TV. We donated some money, and you did fine. I go, and I loved your show. Happy to. I'm going, holy crap! And he was like the nicest, kindest, complimentary guy, and he gives me a hug, and goes in his limousine and travels away. He died a couple of years later, but
wow.
But that's how I met Elvis Presley.
Wow.
I mean, you can't make that up. It's like, and yeah, so there you go.
An awesome story.
Before it's gone.
That is an awesome story. Hey, Anson, tell us a little bit about your alert drops, because we people want to know about them.
Well, that's that's one of the most important things I've been associated with in my career, because we're saving lives. It started, my uncle, actually, he was my second cousin, but I've called him Uncle. Well, he passed away just over 3 years ago, but I called him Uncle Hank ever since I was a little kid. And that was Dr. Heimlich, who created the Heimlich maneuver.
Cool.
And we were very close. And quite a while ago, I was directing a show. And it was an exhausting day outside in the desert, and I fell asleep driving home. And thank God I didn't kill anybody, didn't kill myself, but I could have. And really, really freaked me out. And Dr. Heimlich is just a whiz when it comes to natural, how the body helps the body. And I told him what happened. He said, Anson, have cut up lemons with you. And he said, when you ever feel exhausted, bite into them, because he said, this is very old science, but the sour lemon and the citric acid will hit the lingual nerve on top of your tongue, and the reflex reaction of the body will be adrenaline. You're up, you're alert, nothing in your system, the body waking the body. He said, not any different than getting your reflexes checked at the doctor. They do your elbow, your knee.
Right.
He said the same thing with the tongue, the sensory connection with tongue and brain. So I used to do that, and boy, it worked. Never had the problem again. Then years later, I aside from entertainment, I went into the problem-solving product business. I love creating products that solve problems. And when I researched just how catastrophic drowsy driving is, I mean, there's more deaths, tragedies, and medicated and drunk driving combined. It's a huge, huge catastrophic problem in this country. And also exhaustion. Whether it's students, getting sick with too much caffeine. I mean, there's so many areas where you needed to be alert for safety and for health and to stop problems before they started. So I called Dr. Heimlich. I said, I have this crazy idea, but can we just make a superpowered lemon spray where we just citric acid, sour lemon, water, a bit of preservative, put it in a spray drop, and just spray it on top of the tongue? He got so excited. He said, you will save more lives in the Heimlich maneuver. It's more powerful than the lemons. It's a direct hit. And nothing in your system, your body waking the body, natural, safe. So we did it. We created Alert Drops. And if people go to alertdrops.com, might be the most important website you've gone through in a long time. Alertdrops.com, you'll learn all about Dr. Heimlich, the science behind alertdrops.com, the testimonials, why it works, how it works, all the natural part of it. You'll see we've been honored by the United States Congress, California State Senate, City of LA. Cool. But more than that, testimonials are saving lives. In fact, during this COVID crisis, we sent thousands of front-line healthcare workers who requested alert drops. They were working 16, 17-hour days.
Sure.
So, so we've been helping so many people, and so many testimonials, stopping so many tragedies in so many areas. And the simplest thing, it's a high-powered lemon spray, bam. But it's developed perfectly. And it's all because of Dr. Heimlich and is wanting to save lives. So this is very, very important to me. And everyone out there listening, if you go to alertshops.com, it's a responsibility. You will save lives. You pay this forward. And I tell them, too, I said, if you can't afford Alert Drops, which is very reasonable, a month's supply is less than 2 Starbucks.
Right.
But even then, if you can't, at least have cut-up lemons in your car. Because this is one catastrophic problem. Drowsy driving, exhaustion in the workplace, all that can be stopped with a simple lemon spray or cut up lemons. Something in this crazy world where we can't control things, this we can control, and we can stop hundreds of thousands of deaths and tragedies instantly with this very, very simple old science that Dr. Heimlich knew, and all we did is make really a better scooter. Go to alertjobs.com, learn all about it, and protect your friends, protect your family, please.
Probably could have helped out Tiger Woods, right?
What's that?
It probably could have helped out Tiger Woods, right?
Well, that's right. There was actually an article out there. They believe Tiger Woods fell asleep at the wheel, and if he had alert drops, and when he felt tired, I mean, it would have stopped, absolutely stopped it.
Wow.
You know, the adrenaline would have hit. He'd have been up, and he wouldn't have fallen asleep.
Wow. We also have a question from another listener who wants to know, what was it like to spend the day on the set with John Lennon when he stopped by the set?
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
Oh, that was the coolest day. That was the first year of Happy Days. And I remember it was a cold morning, and not a lot of us were shooting that day. Ron was there, Donnie was there, I was there, Henry was there, and one guest star. That was it for the day.
Uh-huh.
And back then, you didn't have this fancy craft service. You just had some apples and some bad coffee in a tin, in a big old tin thing. So I went over to get some bad coffee, and I noticed this guy and a kid. And I come back to Don, and I go, "Hey, Don, there's this guy in kind of like sunglasses and stuff, and this guy looked just like John Lennon, hysterical." And Donnie goes, "Oh yeah, John Lennon is here spending. He wanted to hang out with us." It was John Lennon and his son Julian.
So cool. I have that picture too, by the way.
Unbeknownst to us, it was his son's favorite show, and they came to hang out on the set.
So cool.
Amazing.
He was the nicest, most shy, most wonderful guy, doing doodles for the cast and for the crew, and we didn't because we're professionals, of course. They're buying houses now with their doodles. He do a little doodle, sign. The one thing we got was we got a picture together. We all got a picture together. We didn't even have him sign an autograph.
Oh, amazing.
But so we spent the day with this wonderful, magical genius, John Lennon.
So cool.
Amazing.
Also, I wanted to ask you about the sets. Most of the show was shot at Paramount Studios on stage, but was any of the shooting done at the Cunningham house, which is a few blocks away from the studio?
Yeah, well, we went there like a few days or here and there. All we did was outside kind of establishing shots, driving the car in, driving the car out, that kind of stuff. We never, and that was the luckiest people because it was just, it's a house down the street. That looks okay. We'll do that one. It doubled the value of that house. Let me tell you.
I'm sure when I was in Los Angeles, I got to visit the house. It was like going back in time and being on the set of Happy Days. Very cool.
Yeah.
Doc, what do you got for us?
I have another question for you. Yeah, during the time, I'm sure you guys are all still friends. Who do you see now at a regular basis? Do you see Ronnie Howard more or Donnie Most, or you just guys don't meet up at all?
Oh, I had lunch with Don yesterday. We're best friends.
Oh, very cool.
We don't live that far away. And then and Henry, we talk to a lot. And we try to get together for lunch here and there.
Nice.
Ron, a little more difficult. We're in touch all the time because all over the world, So, and Marion, much more often. So yeah, we're all close. We're a phone call away.
How about the rest of the cast? Do you ever see or talk to any of them?
Well, yeah, like I said, Marion, yes, Ron was in town.
Yeah.
Henry when we can get together. But yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Let me ask you, Anson, what was it like to date the daughter of a president? Tell us about that experience with Susan Ford.
Well, yeah, it was a small blip of a time dating, but I met her. I was requested to sing "America the Beautiful" at the Caesarea Festival in right outside of Virginia Beach. I forgot the name of the town. Anyway, I was requested, so I went there and sang "America the Beautiful," and that's where I met her. And we kind of kicked around there, and then I was invited to the White House for a reception for all the people that were involved in that event. So I flew back to Washington, and they had this nice tea in the East Room, and got to meet Mrs. Ford, and there's Susan. I said, "Hey, Susan, nice place you got here." And so then we went on a VIP tour of the White House, and during the tour, the Secret Service said, "Come with us." What? So I go up that, they take me around this thing, and then there's the private elevator with the guy that's been running it for 3,000 years. And I was able to get up to the private residence, and there she is, and she goes, I'm kidnapping you. We're going to go see Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes tonight. I go, no, we're not. I'm exhausted. Oh, yes, we are. So there I am getting a White House toothbrush, and I got kidnapped, and we saw Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes at the Meadowlands Theater that night.
How cool is that?
And then, and she was great person. And then I saw her a couple more times, and then it started getting publicity, and that was kind of it. But it was a great experience. I mean, again, Forrest Gump, hanging out at the White House, hanging out in the solarium, seeing Liberty on the White House lawn, trying to call my best friend. Back then, they didn't have, cell phones or anything. He doesn't answer. I was going to say, you'll never believe where I'm calling you from. But yeah, so yeah, it was quite an experience, let me tell you.
Oh man. And I know you did a lot of work with Aaron Spelling after Happy Days, right? You did work on some of his shows.
With who?
Aaron Spelling. Aaron
Oh,
Spelling.
Aaron. Yeah, well, I got into directing, and I've been lucky. I've done over 300 hours of television. But Aaron, gosh, the greatest guy. And I worked for years. I worked on so many of his shows. Everything from Ellis Place to 90210 to Charmed to a show called Titan to oh my gosh, Heaven Help Us with John Schneider, Robin's Hood with Linda Pearl. I did so many shows. I mean, he kept me employed for a long time.
Wow. Also, before I let you go here, Anson, I just want to ask you about the baseball tour, the softball tour. What was it like? I heard it was like you guys were on tour with the Beatles.
That was all Gary Marshall. He, in fact, I really don't think I would have gotten cast the spots if I couldn't play ball. I swear to God. And if an extra wanted to get a line in Happy Days, all he had to be was a good ball player. Because Gary thought it was very important to put together a team. He put together a Happy Days baseball team. And people ask, what's your greatest memories of Happy Days? And actually, it was off the set. We were all ex-jocks except for Henry. We taught Henry to pitch. But Ron was a great player. John was a really good player. I was pretty good. And we had a lot of guest stars that were great players, a lot of the crew. And we went all over the United States doing charity games at all the major stadiums. Pre-game, Yankee Stadium, Brewer Stadium, Dodger Stadium, on and on. All over the country. And we won most of the time. And then we also went all over the world playing against for USO, playing against the Marines, Army, Navy, Air Force. We played all over Germany, Okinawa, that's the China Sea, the Mediterranean. We played baseball all over the world as a team. And I think that's one reason we're so close as friends, because Gary felt if you'll always have your team members back. And it took the ego away. And it made us much closer than just actors. And the times we had, singing, here we are singing in Würzburg, Germany, in a 1,000-year-old castle, out on the balcony, overlooking a 1,000-year-old city, singing Splish Splash to the Rhine River. I mean, you can't make that stuff up.
You can't.
And we just had the most amazing experiences. So, and for all of us, those are the memorable experiences with that ball team, and just a phenomenal special time.
And you also had a lot of guest stars, right, on the softball team, like Tony Danza, right? A lot of people came and played with you guys. Penny Marshall.
Oh, Penny came on, and Tony's a great player. Rob Reiner came on, who's a great player. We brought a lot of guests in there. Ted McGinley was an awesome player.
I had a question for you too. I wanted to ask you, Anson, about your time and not only working with. What do you think about a reboot?
The reboot. I mean, it's Henry won't do it. Maybe be a guest. I think Ron won't do it. But maybe I think we have kind of an idea that might work as a reboot, bringing a lot of people in and out. I won't get into the details.
Gotcha.
But I do believe we're going to be speaking with the showrunner and might be going into pitch to CBS, and that one's Happy Days.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
I think we have an idea for a reboot that's pretty damn strong.
I mean, look at Cobra Kai. I mean, you got to go by the success of what you see for other people, right? And look at their success. So I wish you the same success with the Happy Days reboot if it works out.
Well, we'll see. It won't be quite like Cobra Kai because they are able to get the original cast, everybody.
I understand.
Right.
So ours will be it's a little different, but I still think it's satisfying. I still think it's satisfying. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Beautiful.
Anson, I just want to mention your book before you go. I read the book. It's a great book, Singing to a Bulldog. It's still available on Amazon.com, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that was a real privilege to write that book.
What a fantastic book. I enjoyed so much reading it. I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. I thank you for taking the time out to talk to me and Doc G. We really appreciate it. And anytime you want to come back on the show, you're always welcome here at Hamilton Radio.
Well, thank you. And I had a wonderful time. Thank you for the platform. Thank you for helping with Alert Drops and alertdrops.com. Without you, it's a collaborative team effort to help people. I want to thank you for being part of that.
Oh, no problem. We're always glad to help. If you do any commercials or promos, let me know and swing them to me, and I'll pop them on the radio and my Roku channel for you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Anson. Have a great day.
Hey, Anson, before you go,
I get God bless, guys.
Go ahead. Take care, Anson. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right. There you go. Good show, Jimmy.
Thanks, Doc. Great show. Also, Monday, we have Liberty DeVito. So he'll be here, Billy Joel's longtime drummer, and a lot more guests on the way. So I want to thank everybody for joining us this afternoon for Anson Williams. What a great show. It was great having him on. And Doc, any parting shots? I know you have a big deal coming up Thursday.
I wanted to get a sweeper from him, but he just wanted to go. So I let it go.
I know he was in he was in a rush. He had someone to go after this. But
I understand he's got stuff going on. Yeah, everybody does, and I know. Yeah. It's okay. But Liberty DeVito, we definitely got to get a sweeper from.
Absolutely.
It took way too hard to get. But no, we have a great opportunity on Thursday at 8 p.m. for this network meeting to become what I expected to be, getting bigger and bigger and growing. And we got a lot of book authors on there. So I'm reaching out to everybody that's watching us now and listening to us. If you got a book and you want to be on this show, you need to email me. I already got 30 people signed up.
Wow.
Now, if they all show up, great. But sometimes, as you know, like little things happen and some do, some don't, or they forget, or, no matter how much I remind people, they still forget. Right. So take the opportunity and come and meet some of these people that are supposed to be on the show. And I'll give you some of the names and you can tell me if you know of them or not. Terry Draper from Klaatu. Vinny Zumo from, of course, he's from his own band, Vinny Zumo Band, but also Joe Jackson Band in the 70s or 80s. Right. Susie Murray is a Top Talent production person. She actually has her own show called Top Cat Talent. We're going to talk to her. Andrew Lighting, another station owner. My good friend and radio show host, Maureen Sullivan. She's a registered nurse, also a person that wrote a book. She's an awesome person.
Nice.
There's a couple people in here that are from The Outsiders, Jimmy Aschenbrenner and Rick and Lois Biagiola from The Outsiders. Aurora Ray, another book author. And my wife, Sandy DiPiero, as a book author.
Wow.
And my daughter, DJ Danny, who is going to be on the show, talking a little bit about what she does and where she gets all her guests and stuff like that. So that's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a little family thing, but there's also going to be a lot of people involved. So
I can talk about my book. I
And
started
you
it.
can talk about your book and what
I
you
started
done.
it, but I have to get around to finishing it. It's going to be called In the Shadow of the Stars, but it'll be out one day when I finish. Get some time to finish it.
Yeah, you know, if you and I wrote a book, oh my God, I wrote one song. That's my book.
Yeah.
It's only 3 minutes long. I can't write a book.
Wow. Well, everybody join us Monday for Liberty DeVito, and then we also have Saturday morning superhero Jackson Bostwick, Shazam, Captain Marvel is going to be here.
Shazam, yeah, that's so cool.
Very excited about that. I liked him. I used to watch that all the time. TV personality Matthew Biancanello is going to be here. Rock star Robin Beck, Damon Wilson, of course, Lamont Sanford from Sanford and Son. The Fab Four is going to be here. Claudia Wells and Debbie Laurie Jacobson, who's also an author, a Hollywood author. She's going to be here. We have so many great people on the way, so just hang with us, and we'll keep you posted on that.
I'm working on Darius McCleary and also Jaleel White from Family Matters. That's Steve Urkel, if anybody wants to do that.
Oh, that's so awesome! Yeah,
and his brother on the show, or his the sister's brother on the show. But you know, again, I don't know if they're going to contact me. We just reach out, you know.
Absolutely, we reach out, and whoever gets back to us gets back to us. Exactly.
All right, we'll talk to you later, buddy. It was nice talking to you. Have a great day, and we'll see everybody on Thursday, which is
see you on Thursday night. Hope everybody joins us.
Thanks,
everybody, for listening. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.